In fact, let's take it forward with more reactions and more reporting on that news. I'm joined now by ENCA's Monique Mortlock, who is outside the late former President de Klerk's house. Monique, what are you observing there in terms of activity around the house?
For now, it's all quiet outside the home of former President FW de Klerk. This is the home where he passed away in the early hours of this morning, according to the FW de Klerk Foundation's statement. They have said that he passed away after his battle with cancer, and in June earlier this year, we know that the foundation issued a statement about that diagnosis of de Klerk having mesothelioma, which is a condition where the cancer affects the lining of the lungs. But when we arrived here, we saw a neighbor on her way to pay her respects. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to chat to you, Teddy. I just wanted to ask if you can just step forward. You explained to me your husband recently had the privilege of having lunch with the former president.
Yes, I must say, when the news broke, just because I live in close proximity to former president, I just came to stand on the corner to kind of show my respects. Yes, we have had close contact with him, in that my husband and his brothers had lunch with him sort of in August this year. And previously before that, Mr. de Klerk was very generous of his time and allowed us to auction a lunch with him for a foundation. And my husband and his brothers went for lunch, and all they could say was what a humble, quiet and special person that he was. Just a very interested in their life, interested to talk about any topics that they had, and they just said it had a profound impact on their lives.
Teddy, as you're talking, I'm just going to ask you to move next to me so my colleague Balungile can show viewers what's happening right now. It seems as if a hearse has arrived at the house. We obviously aren't being allowed inside. We are seeing some members of the family inside, and obviously wanting to just maintain a distance. And as you said, you were here just to pay your respects. In your husband's last interaction with the former president, how was his spirits? How did he seem, especially with his condition with dealing with cancer?
Despite his condition, when we kind of set up the lunch, he was, we actually asked, is he really up for it? And the reply was absolutely. He looked forward to the opportunity to be able to interact, and one wouldn't have thought he was as ill as he was. He was very gracious and very kind and compassionate in his time. So it was a very special opportunity that they had to meet a great man from our history.
And the fact that his public appearances have been quite brief in recent years, given his condition, have you ever seen him walking around, taking walks in the neighborhood? Obviously, before his diagnosis, was he someone who was quite a well-known face around the neighborhood?
He was definitely well known. I think everyone in the neighborhood knew he lived here, but he still remained quite private in his life. So he would, leave the house, with sort of a guard duty, but always friendly and waving, but not one to sort of walk around, but still, sort of out and about. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was Teddy, a neighbor of former President FW de Klerk, who had come here just to pay her respects to the family. We saw a vehicle going into the house. It looked like a large vehicle, similar to a hearse. So we'll be keeping an eye out on any further developments coming from the home, and whether we'll be seeing any high-ranking dignitaries or officials making their way to the house. We know that the former president passed away a little earlier this morning, and the foundation saying they will be announcing any further details regarding his funeral in the coming days.
All right, Monique Mortlock, let's leave it there. Monique, live outside the home of the late former president FW de Klerk, who has passed on at the age of 85.